What about the Second World War? What were you doing, Tim? Were you in the forces or reserved occupation?
Well, I nearly got there, but every time I got within a day or two, the war ag stopped me. Some reason or other, Mr. Peters come and said, it's been deferred. I joined the LDV the same night as it was announced. We was at the rectory room, and the local policeman was there, and about 5 or 6 of us was about 17, I suppose. We was about 16 or 17, and we joined the LDV.
What's the LDV?
Local Defence Volunteers.
That's before it was
You only had a
Home Guard.
band, you didn't have nothing else.
So it was
And then
later called it the Home Guard.
the Home Guard come after that, yeah.
Yeah, because like the territorials, was farm workers, when they all disappeared quick. Well, in fact, they disappeared just before war started, didn't they?
Yeah, well, yeah, the three territorial ambulance we had, they left the horses in the field. Some sergeant major come on a push bike and they was gone. They had to go, the horses and everything was just left. I mean, they went, left it, dropped the tools, and they had to go. And apparently that night they was in Chatham with their anti-aircraft guns.
Really? So that'll be in the first year, presumably.
Before the war started.
Oh, before the war.
Well, just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, what was it, 1940 or 1941, where they, you couldn't get off the farm if you wanted to, no good trying, you couldn't.
And did it have a very great effect on the village? Or did village life carry on as normal?
Well, I think carried on, because when the searchlight would come up behind Sid's house, after the troops was stationed billeted who could take them. Quite a few people, they billeted in the houses.
Yeah, well, that first church, like there is where the bungalows are now. That was local territorials, wasn't it?
Yeah, from Dover REs.
Because Alex Heath was there. Hadn't got a rifle from Mugham, they had pickaxe handles.
So they had the searchlight, what was now Coulson Cove, where you...
Yeah. Yeah, it's in that square. The one that come later, that was further out in the field and a lot bigger.
They had some guns on the Almond Meadow, is that right?
Yes, they was along the churchyard wall. Yeah.
And these, what's an anti-aircraft gun?
No,
£25.
what would it be, 25 pounders, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they were there in reserve for...
No, they're facing it over the bay.
When the invasion was
Yeah, the
imminent.
expected invasion, yeah. Look, it used to be on top of the
Were
church.
they permanently fixed, or were they on carriages? Or?
Well, they was there permanent, but they were mobile. If you know them, they had scambles to pull them around.
Oh, yeah, it's all concreted in or whatnot. Yeah.
Were any of the youngsters evacuated at all?
Yes.
Where did...
Well, the first part of the war, they was evacuated here. Of course, then after Dunkirk, they had to go and they started evacuating school children from here. They went to Wales.
Wales. So they're away then, 4 years?
So they all drifted back long before that.
Really?
They drifted back in dribs and drabs and things, mums.
But they wasn't very well accepted, was they?
I don't know, I never went, but I know it.
Well, I don't suppose you can be not coming from one end of the country to the other, totally different.
I know they had coaches up Northbourne School taken them to Sandwich Station. I was out on the field working there when they...
My brother went.
Did he? To Wales?
Yeah, and I think my sister was too young, wasn't she, to go?
Well,
Wally went.
I think if you was under 5, I think Mum could go with you. But then mums didn't leave dads, dads behind, if you know what I mean.
So most of the people around here were actually in reserve occupation. I mean,
You got a watch, read you? Most of the village worked on the farm. Yeah.
I don't think it was reserved in the very beginning, but it's when they said food was only about a fortnight's ration left in the country and things like that.
Well, they started bringing all this American equipment into the country, farming equipment.
Really?
It wasn't no good putting Langos on them.
So,
Because you know how temperamental the bloody old Fortune was. You couldn't expect no girl to start one of them bloody things up.
so the main machinery for the farms actually came from the States, didn't it?
Least, big stuff at East Land.
Yeah, because at the start of the war, most part, well, even Betsanger only had 2 tractors, did they?
Yeah.
International and Old Standard Fortune. Yeah.
Oh, I'm just trying to think
I
how
don't-
many horses it was.
It was about 3, 4 pairs of horses, wasn't it?
I think there was 4 pairs and quite a few odd ones. There's a Wagner and under Wagner and first man and second boy and all the rest of it.
Really?
Oh yeah, the horsepower starting the war was horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone told me that there were underground workings around Home Farm, that area. It was going to be a sort of foxhole dugout.
Werewolf holes.
Werewolf hole.
Yeah, plenty of those. We'd all been. There was big holes in the ground. Well, secret for the experts in sabotage after the war.
Yeah.
And if anyone knew where they were, even though they reckoned that if it come to a crunch and anyone knew, and the enemy got you, you'd be killed rather than let them know where they were. There was 3 at Betsanger Farm.
So do we know where they are now?
One at corner of Stone Heap, one up by opposite Mr. Walmsley's house, one up 18 acres. Well, you were they held quite a lot of men. They could have held quite a lot of men.
So they were what? Down those.
One was
Sure.
under a chicken house, sunk down under a chicken house and all caves. And when they it was after the war when they cleared the wood up. After the war, they come and blocked them up and caved them in, the army.
Yeah.
And after the war, there was a big Scotch pine tree standing out just a little way away. And when they cut it down, an aerial was in the bark, right to the top.
Really?
Yeah, and you didn't even know where it was.
So one of the secret blokes was Guy Steed, wasn't it? Everything was found where it led his name.
In the farm in what we called the house, well, back of the offices now. I didn't know till the war ended. It was hard rations because Mr. Peters was the chief warden, and there was hard rations in there for the locals, and they got changed every 6 months at night. And there was only about 3 people what knew they were there, and we was working in the same, and we didn't know until they kept it that secret. The hard rations, the biscuits and whatnot, whatever, have changed it night every 6 months. That was for emergencies. And he was chief warden.
I'll just quickly check the tape.
There's also a bit of a mystery surrounding old Joe Williams, the schoolmaster.
Well, Joe Williams that first mentioned the idea of the werewolf holes to me.
Oh, I think he had to come there under the Essential Works order. I think he was deputy edit Minster,
Uh-huh.
and he was forced to come to Northbourne School as headmaster under the Essential Works order. As far as I know,
What was the Essential Works order?
you had to do as you go where you was told. Yeah,
But was this Essential Works, like essential
Essential-
building works?
There's some secret
all
attached to him.
the pit was on Essential Works orders. And that was the only thing what went on strike in all of Britain in the war. Betsinger Colliery at one time. In the whole of Britain in the old war.
What happened there?
They all got summons, but then they got away with it in the end. It was
Well,
over
yeah,
bonuses and things. I don't know.
Yeah, because you couldn't stick a lot in prison, could they?
I know.
No. Well, did they get the bonus?
Oh,
No.
I don't know. It was overpay anyway.
Well, they had that much clout, they more or less always got what they wanted.
Well, I suppose they were absolutely essential.
So it was
The
essential,
whole-
yeah.
Yeah,
Whole place ran on coal.
Oh yeah. It's just,
and
yeah.
they was vulnerable too. Because for a while there, it used to be regular every Sunday morning, breakfast time, wasn't there? There used to be 2 fought wolves come up the old railway line and drop a couple of bombs and fly low over the village, back out over that way. It used to be a regular Sunday morning breakfast time thing, that did.
Were there anti-aircraft facilities at the pit then?
Oh, it was
Once they started, then they put Bofors around the colliery.
both of us come quite late though.
Yeah.
They had just Lewis guns. You know, a bit of round sandbags and a couple of
Yeah.
Lewis guns.
But these searchlights, what were the searchlights there for if you didn't have artillery to
Well, they was open for night fighters, I suppose.
yeah.
Oh, there was plenty of anti-air. I mean, actually, this corner, this area was a fighter zone, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You got to a little way towards it over, then it became a gunnery zone.
So you've got a lot of fighters from Manston, presumably. Manston?
Manson was closed during the war once. They've knocked it out.
Really?
Well, so
Oh,
they
you-
tell us. But
oh, yes,
they won't ever admit it.
I was at the top of the school path that Saturday morning when they'd done that. Part of the bombers come over the top of us, didn't they? It was a sort of hazy day, and it seems though they all dropped load in one go, and it was just one big sheet of smoke and chalk dust.
They actually made them up, found Manston.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes, they more or less obliterated it in one go.
Manston,
And a lot of time after that, it was more or less only
when they used it as a
Uh,
fighter station, but then they planes all went away at night, apparently.
forward stage more or less.
Oh, I see.
After
So
that,
they
they come in the morning.
Mhm.
No, at night they go back further inland.
See, they didn't have to come up. They could come in quite low all the time. They didn't have to come up. It was under radar
Yeah.
all
yeah,
the
they
time.
could just come across the.
Yeah, come low. Yeah.
Were there any German parachutists?
Not
discovered
to
in-
know of. We had a stand to a time or two, didn't we?
Yeah. Oh, Mrs. Smith
But,
went through the wood just up the road. And Andy lived, went through the 2 high tension wires,
Really?
through the wood, and he was still in his.
Still sat in there with no wings on.
From just 200 yards away from here, I suppose. Just the other side of the. You know, they're just
bit far into the
Cardiff, we
Taco's.
called it. It was just across the. Well, I suppose just along that. Yeah. He went he went through high tension wires.
This is up towards Spetzhanger, the Straight Mile, that area.
No,
here.
here.
That's over here.
Yeah, through that.
Yeah, he's
trees.
flying ever so low, and there's a Spitfire flying alongside him. He wasn't going to get home, whatever happened.
Yeah.
The Spitfire just flying alongside him, wait to see what happened.
They forced him down.
So you've got no wings left or anything. But
He was no. The wings were taken off with the trees.
As he went through the trees.
Through the trees, the wings were
took his
taken
wing
off
off.
in
either side.
either
Yeah.
side. Yeah, and they. Oh, I don't know. I expect it was rumours. They said he was asking where the nearest German airdrome was, 21 miles away. I don't know. If it was
But
a,
he survived this chap. Got out of the
yes,
cockpit and said,
he survived. Yeah.
what happened to him?
Well, just a prisoner of war.
Yeah? The local Bobby turned up. Or,
Yeah. Oh, Jack Richards, Jack Richards' son, Eric. He made him run down to his house. He was a war reserve copper
Yeah.
to go and get his jacket. But Albert Friend was the first one on the scene. He was working there. Yeah.
So it was necessary for the local copper to be properly dressed to.
Oh yeah, he had to go and get his
Oh.
jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he could have run anywhere though, because didn't they say he bashed his on the gun site?
He didn't. That was the morning. An American pancaked up the far end of the village at the park, Northbourne Park. In the afternoon, Mr. Smith,
Mr. Smith.
he come down.
You never met Mr. Smith then?
No.
No, you just. No, no.
In fact,
Oh,
we see more of our own planes doing on the green what we did then.
Really?
Oh yeah, a lot more.
A lot of them got jumped.
A lot more. Oh, well, I can understand it. Ours were trying to get this way, and theirs was trying to get that way. If you know what I mean,
Yeah.
can understand that.
So what was the economy of the village like during the wartime? We're supposed to have had all sorts of shops up down the street and things.
No.
No, just a complete.
No, just had a village shop here.
Well, yeah, it was only the one with the village shop, the only post office. Searchlight got machine gun one night. I can remember that quite
Yeah.
on one foggy night.